So yeah, I will explain that our purpose in here, to ask you something about your culture. Then we want to ask about, the activities there. What is, the cultural things that we want to know about Europe, especially in France. So in order to finish and also fulfill our assignment from our lecture, yeah, thank you so much once again. So maybe, yeah, we're going. Is it now? Yeah, I think it's time for to question and answer. Are you ready with us?
Kinda. Yeah, yeah, I am.
Okay, so I'm curious about something. In the first question is, how does the cultures around you affect how people behave every day in Europe, especially in your country, French? We want to know that.
Yeah, because I think that it changed for every single country in Europe. Because even in Europe, we have different behavior about from the culture that we have. I think that every single culture, in every culture, there is education, and that's hugely important for the behavior that we have um, with people, like for communication, for anything. It's really like important, so it affects, I think, pretty a lot. mm. I don't know how to explain this, but for example, the way that we are saying uh, hello or something like this, we have to be polite. We have different degrees of politeness, and it's really important, and that's a huge part of the cultures. For example, the kiss that we do sometimes between relatives, that's a part of the culture. Like in different region of France, we have um, a different number of kisses. For example, in some region they do twice, three times in other. So yeah, I think the culture affects a lot the behavior.
Oh, I see. And maybe following up of this question, I'm just curious. Is it true? There's because there's a lot of stereotypes, right, about French people that maybe they're rude or like maybe like they're kind of not really open to foreigners, or is it true? Is it like because the cultures, or I just want to clarify.
um, Actually, that's true for some people. Some people are not really open. They're like quite rude. Mostly Parisian people from Paris, yeah, they're really rude, even to us. I feel like we're not really coming to talk to foreigners because we are really afraid of our English level abilities. Because the level here is pretty bad in France, so that's why we don't really dare to talk to strangers, to foreigners. So that's why that's foreigners think that we may be like impolite, I guess.
Yeah, I see. Okay, thank you so much. Because maybe one day that me and my friend will go to French and meet you some days. It will be great, have you there. Okay, thank you once again. So we're going to the next questions, to the second part. Like, are there any special festival or celebration in your country? How do you join in? Like, as maybe from your site, La Rochelle, right?
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
didn't the right to pronounce the part of your region. La Rochelle, La Rochelle,
La Rochelle, we say.
La
It's really
Rochelle.
complicated. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, La
yeah, La
Rochelle.
Rochelle.
We do have celebrations, but it mostly like with a religion meaning, Christian meaning. So like Christmas or Easter, like this type of things. But for example, for social festivals, I think we have. It depends, yeah, about the region or even the city. Yes, sometimes I remember that in my city, um, we are celebrating um, birthday, like the birthday of the relationship between La Rochelle and Quebec. This type of thing about history is really important, and we celebrate it a lot. And also, um, of course, one of the most important social festival or even national festival, I mean, would be the National Day, July 14th, which is really important. And I think that when you're saying that, how do you join in? There is no special way to join in. Like, for example, the National Day, anyone can just come in and just cheers, celebrate, and that's all. Like, it doesn't matter if you're French or not.
Yeah, that's interesting. Because I remember, I saw like the National Day of France that
Mm.
you a lot of fireworks, and it's so beautiful to watch about the National Days of French.
Yeah, every village, every city, we have like fireworks for the day, and sometimes also some soldiers walking in some cities. That's really great. Yeah, we really appreciate it.
I see. Talking about a culture, it's continue to the next question. Basically, like, what is the unique and cool about your culture? Because every culture is unique, right? So we want to know that the uniqueness of the French cultures there.
I think that in France, what is unique is that we have a lot of different cultures, uh, and it's all together. Like every single region has its own culture, and also there is a little reminder. Everyone, I think, in the world think that France is just the country that we know in Europe, but not only. We have what we call dom-tom, which is like departments in outside of the country. So we have Martinique or French Polynesia, in Oceania with Tahiti, and they have so many cultures too as well. Um, and I think that's what makes France really unique because uh, we have some territories in France where we can meet all of these cultures at the same place. And for example, during festivals, celebration, it makes it really joyful. And yeah, that's what is it. I mean, France is not just a single culture that every foreigner knows, like the baguettes and the type of things. No, it's just like a mix of cultures, and that's the identity of France.
Oh, I see. Okay, that's so interesting. Also, talking about the uniqueness about the cultures. Our culture also have a food, right? So we want to know, like, is there anything that we could learn from the value of the foods there? Is there any history or identity? Like maybe the existence of croissants. Is there any story behind a croissant or like baguette or anything like the influence of the foods there?
Oh yeah, we have a theory actually about the croissant. Uh, the croissant comes from Vienna, Austria. That's why we call this type of pastry like croissant, like chocolatine, all of this type of little pastry. Viennoiserie. It looks like Vienna, right? Viennoiserie, Vienna. And croissant because it was, you know, uh, Vienna has been attacked centuries ago by the Ottoman Empire, and the Ottoman Empire flag is the croissant, right? So they copied this to make the croissant, for example.
That's
Yeah.
so interesting. It's like this story of croissant with the Ottoman empires. I never know
Mhm.
that, but yeah, it's such a really fun fact. What about like the other ones, like the baguette, or is there any like the culture things that we could learn?
Uh, Baguette, we don't really know, to be
Um,
honest. There is no special story behind. Um, Maybe about some dishes, I guess, or even drink. Or for example, what should I say? We have a lot of regional dishes, and there is always like a story behind it. Mm, For example, there are special biscuits, special cakes that we call les biscuits de la mère Poulard. Yeah, that's really long. Mère Poulard, she really existed. She was from Mont Saint-Michel. I don't know if you see the monument. Like, it's an island with I don't have picture right now, but Mount Saint-Michel is really, really famous in the world. And she was living there, and she was like a baker, and she made these cookies, these biscuits, and nowadays these biscuits, these cookies are really famous in France and even around the world. Yeah.
I see. Is there any food that you recommend us to try? Besides, like maybe it's uncommon for a tourist, so
Oh,
you should try.
I won't recommend all of this like snails, frogs because I hate it. So, but there is a dish from Alsace, which is like a German-speaking region in France next to the border. And this dish is Flammkuchen or tarte flambée. It looks like a pizza, but it's not. It's like with cream, with onions, and with meat. You can replace the pork with chicken if you want, because I know that Indonesia is mostly a Muslim country, so you can change it if you want. So, yeah, that's really popular dish in France. A lot of people are eating this for like between friends because it's really a big tart, big pizza kind of pizza. It's not really a pizza. Don't say that to an Italian person. It's gonna be pissed. Yeah, that's really popular. And for drink, there is a popular drink in the southwest of France, which is cacolac. It's from Bordeaux, and it's chocolate milk drink, which is really famous, and it has a unique taste. Yeah, that's what I recommend. Maybe for dessert, crème brûlée. I don't know if you know crème brûlée.
I heard about it, but I don't really know. But sometimes I hear like creme brulee.
Yeah. It's like cream with vanilla, cinnamon, if I'm not wrong, and it's like burnt on the top, and it's really tasty.
Oh,
Really
I see. We would love to try that. Also, you have to try Indonesian foods here.
Yeah. Oh, I don't remember, but there was dish nasi goreng. I
Yeah,
don't.
nasi goreng. Yeah, it's nasi goreng.
Okay. Yeah, I want to try it.
Yeah, you should try nasi goreng. Okay, thank you. Yeah, going to the next question is, what do you think about trying to keep a different cultures alive and global values are becoming more common? Because nowadays that a lot of countries are more open with other cultures. So how we keep our own cultures more highlight despite all the globalizations that exist.
That's quite scary, actually. That nowadays the traditions are faded away right now, and I think that matters a lot because that's a part of the identity of each person in the world. And for example, I have my own culture, which is Poitevin Saint-Onger. It's a language and a culture at the same time, and I'm really proud of my identity, but I am sad that we almost don't see it. Like, how to say that? France forced people for a long time to speak only French, to have only Parisian tradition, to keep only this tradition. And we had to live our old traditions, old regional traditions. So we lost at this point a part of the identity. And I think that's really, really sad. So to keep our culture, our regional culture, I think that each person from any culture should do like I've heard that we have some festivals, for example, that some people are trying to like make it alive again. There, for example, in Brittany, they have a very different language from any other French languages that we have in any French dialects, and they created new classroom with this language, so the young people can still speak this language, and I think that's really important. So yeah, but we should not be closed-minded about the different cultures. We should also accept the different cultures, like being interested about, but we should never forget our identity, because that's us, that's our personality. Yeah.
That's okay. I agree with you. We never forget where you come from, but we
Yeah.
can appreciate other cultures, but also
Yeah,
we should
as
be
well.
proud of our origins. And talking, it is a curious question. Like, how was the relationship between the French, like with their neighbor countries, such as like you close with Spain, right? You close with Italy. You close with wait a minute. My geography is not really good, but I'm sure that you close to another like Germany or something like that. Like how was because despite the differences of the language barriers, there's how was do you have any kind of the opinion about this?
I think that we are kind of closed off to Portugal, Spain, Italy, Romania, because we share the same language family, the Roman language family. So that's why that we have quite the same words sometimes. But for Germany, it's really recent that we are friends. Because the Second World War, the First World War, many events, uh, many events. How to say that? Because of these events, we were not friends at all. We were really enemies. But recently, after the fall of the Berlin Wall in the 90s, France and Germany started to have closer relationship, and now it's okay. But still, like the old generation, sometimes they cannot get over it. Like they're still in the past, and they cannot, because France had a lot of trauma during this time, so it is quite complicated. But I think that the young generation, it's totally okay.
I see. Okay. Um, maybe I think it's other questions that come out in my mind. I just curious about the revolution of French, right? The revolution of France. So, did you know anything about this revolution of France that affects until now for the civilizations of your country? Like as far as you know, just
The French Revolution changed a lot for France. It changed the politics. It changed a lot of things, because France was really poor at the time. People were dying because they were really hungry. So they decided to revolt. And um, the first option was that the king had to be like, he can still be the king, but it's like a monarchy like we have in England right now, a constitutional monarchy. But he refused. He wanted an absolute monarchy, which is something that the French people refused. So that's why they decided to revolt and kill the king and the queen as well. And at the time, France was really weak because it was really a mess. So European forces tried to attack France, and then a big change happened. We had Napoleon. I don't know if you've heard about him.
Yeah, we heard.
But this guy changed a lot the country. First of all, we had the empire, which lasted for like 20 years, but it was a really big change for Europe, I think, even in Europe. So the French Revolution was a really huge event, and that's why that still nowadays, July 14th, which is the Bastille Day, is still an important day in the National Day of France. Bastille Day was Bastille was a place where we had like prison, and it was like the royal prison. So it was a really important place, and the revolutionaries take it. They took this place, they burned it, and after that, we saw that the revolution really started. So that was a huge event in France.
Oh, I see. So it changed a lot, it changed French a lot because of these revolutions. And maybe it's last one. For me, I just curious because I've been really interested with French, and how about like the political nowadays? Since like Macron in Macron, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but Macron. What do you think about his undertake of the Macron politics of French?
That's a difficult question. I mean, I quite disagree with the government nowadays. I never voted for him, to be honest, at the last elections because I had the chance to vote at the last elections. Politically, I'm more for the left party, so more open-minded, I guess, party, because I feel that Macron ideas are not really good for the young generation. For example, he did almost nothing for the students. Students' life is really difficult. The rent is really expensive, the life is really expensive, and we don't have enough scholarship to be independent. So that's really difficult because the life here is really expensive. And also, I think is politically more on the right party because his ideas about the migration, religion, also sometimes I'm like a little bit ashamed. So yeah, because he's kind of close-minded and he said some bad things about the different religion. Like, for example, he had too much. The French government had too much stereotypes about the different religions other than Christian. Like, for example, the Jewish, the Muslim, mostly the Muslim. The Muslim religion here in France is really impacted by a lot of racism. Yeah, this is something I really disagree, and because I think that we should not bring the hate. I don't. Yeah, that's a really difficult question.
It's okay, don't worry. I just curious about it. But anyways, thank you so much for answering that because I just really interested about French. Just wish me. I hope I really want to study there one day, maybe. Yeah. So yeah, I want to know about that. Okay. Yeah, maybe that's all from me. I took a lot of lessons from you, and as well in here, I also thank you so much that I say to you again. I'm so sorry if I bother you. Like a lot of the questions, a lot of things.
It's fine.
Yeah. Thank you for helping us, especially for this exam situation. Once again, thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you so much also to everyone. Thank you for inviting me. That was a pleasure to answer to your question and also to help you for your assignment as well.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe that's all from me. Is there anyone want to say something for Lucas for the last time before we end this session? Did you all want to say something? Get out, or Dwi, or Yoga, or Suryati? Did you want to say like? Okay, okay. I think they're all like agree that they all also say thank you. Okay, I think that's all from me. And yeah, thank you so much. And bonsoir. Terima kasih. Like from here. Terima kasih, Lucas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have a great night.
Have a great night too.
Yeah.
As
See
well.
you.
Thank you.
Take care. Okay.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup. Yeah, merci.
Ooh.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup. Okay.
See you.
See you.